Hey guys, it's Shelby from Big Cat Creative here, and in today's video, we are going to go over how to figure out which Squarespace template, version, and editor you're using. When you first start a website with Squarespace, you have a bunch of different choices to make. Should you start right away with the newest version and the new Fluid Engine editor, or should you go back to the basics and start with a 7.0 template using the classic editor? Either way, it can get a little tricky to keep track of all the decisions you make, and there may come a time when you need to know all of this info. For example, if you need to look up one of Squarespace's guides or tutorials, or if you're having some trouble and you need to contact the Help Center. Luckily, figuring out all of this information is super easy, so let's dive into it. First things first, let's go over how to figure out which version of Squarespace your website is built on. As a quick reminder, 7.0 is the older version of Squarespace. If you started your website before 2020, you'll definitely be familiar with this version. 7.1 is the newest version of Squarespace, and it has a ton of new features like the brand new Fluid Engine editor. Knowing which version you're using is already going to tell you so much about your website, so it's a really good place to start. To figure this out, you're going to want to navigate to your Pages panel. So here I have a 7.1 website and a 7.0 website. We'll go ahead and start in 7.1. So under Website in the main menu, I'll click on Pages and then scroll to the very bottom of the Pages panel, and it will tell me that I'm in version 7.1 in the very bottom left corner. In 7.0, you'll click on Website in the main menu and then click on Pages and scroll to the very bottom of the Pages panel, where again, it will tell you that you're in version 7.0 in the very bottom left corner. The really nice thing is that in version 7.0, this is also the same place where you can find which template you're using. So next to where it says version 7.0, it will tell you which template family you're using, as well as the specific template that your website is built on. So in this case, we are using the Brine template, which is within the Brine family. In version 7.0, all templates are grouped into template families, and each template family has different design functionalities and capabilities. Most of the time, the guides and tutorials that you're going to be looking up for Squarespace are going to be specified by family, so it's important to know that information so that you can make sure that you're looking up the right info. In 7.0, you also have the ability to switch templates at any time, which you can do by going back into the website tab and clicking on Design and then Template. Here, it will again tell you which template is currently live on your website, and to install a new one, you can go ahead and click on Install New Template. Just remember before making this decision that if you switch to a template outside of the current template family that you're using, you'll risk losing key features, functions, and certain design abilities that might be really important to your website. Just be sure to do a little bit of extra research before installing something new, and if you want some more information on 7.0 templates and their families, you can read the full blog post that goes along with this video, which will be linked in the description below. In version 7.1, all templates are functionally the same, so you don't need to worry about picking a specific template because they all have the same design functions and elements. Because of this, there's technically no reason to need to switch once you've begun, so Squarespace doesn't even tell you which template you're using, and there's also no option to switch template in version 7.1. If you ever need to make changes to your website or even start from scratch, you can do so from the template that you originally started with because all templates have the same capabilities. However, if for whatever reason you did decide that you wanted to start over from scratch with a brand new 7.1 template, you can do so as long as your website is still in its free trial period. Once you've published your site and paid for a subscription, you can't start a new website on a new template without transferring your domain over and starting a brand new subscription. It's just a whole mess and makes your life a lot more complicated. So at that point, you're better off just making changes within the template that you've already started with. Finally, you might need to figure out whether you're using the classic editor or the new Fluid Engine editor. To make things really simple here, if you're using version 7.0, you're definitely editing with the classic editor, as Fluid Engine is not available for 7.0 websites. So if your version number here is 7.0, you are using the classic editor. If you're in version 7.1, however, it is possible to use classic editor sections and Fluid Engine sections on the same page. So to figure out what you're using, you'll want to click on Edit in the top left corner and navigate to a section on your page. If you see this Upgrade button in the top left corner of the section, that means that the section is currently in Classic Editor. You can click this Upgrade button to transfer over to Fluid Engine, but keep in mind that the transfer is irreversible. So once you upgrade into the Fluid Engine editor, you cannot revert back to Classic. If you're viewing the section of your website and click G on your keyboard and this grid appears, that means that you're using the new Fluid Engine editor. You can continue to click the G on your keyboard to make that grid appear and go away. And that is all you need to do to figure out which Squarespace version, template, and editor you're using. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every single week, and I hope to see you in the next one.